Hello, my name is Cedric Twilly, and I want to take a moment to share with you our story about who we are and what we do, specifically about our project called the House of Hope. And where it began is when I started traveling to the Dominican Republic about 2001, 2002. In 2005, I met my beautiful wife, Jahida, and my two handsome boys came along a couple of years later, Cedric Angel and Christopher Yeshua. And we are on the island of Dominican Republic. Hispaniola is the whole island, this opposite side of Haiti. Some people know that, some people don't, but it's just off the coast of Florida. You have Cuba and then the Dominican Republic. We are in the heart of the Dominican Republic, the central part. And my wife and I, as we started seeing the poverty and how the children were really um, running around naked, getting sick, they didn't have clean water, horrible living conditions. We said somebody have to do something. And at that time, we were just traveling back and forth, bringing teams and being there for a while. But then the Lord put on my heart that you are the person that needs to go and do something about it. We started a Saturday Sunday school and started off at like 25, and then it was like 50 something. Next thing you know, we had like 100 plus kids. But now we kind of keep it where it's manageable, about 50 to 60 children. And so I want to share with you how our journey took us for a place where we were um, just kind of loving on the kids a little bit, and really trying to help them with little things. And now we have like a little school, but it's more like an after school program. And we teach about the spiritual, the physical, and emotional. Um, we teach about education. We do arts with them. The regular, we call it English, but then over there it's Spanish. And we teach character and values. And through the process of time, these children have grown up and they're now youth, and we work with the youth, educating them and motivating them and sharing with them how they can come out of poverty if they really put their mind to it. And through that process of time, these children that were small and then now they are youth, as we spent time with them, we begin to realize that there were some things that was really, really going wrong. And we discovered that 4 out of 6 of these young children are sexually or and physically abused by the age of 15. And that was a really hard thing for us to kind of grasp. But we didn't realize the gravity of the problem until several months ago. One young lady, she's in the bottom left hand corner, her name is Emily, she disappeared. She had a boyfriend, and the boyfriend got her pregnant, and the boyfriend and his mom tried to get a doctor to um, kind of get her to have an abortion, but it didn't go well, and they ended up killing the young lady. And um, everybody was looking for her. They didn't know what happened to her. And they was putting out messages on TV and social media, and week after week after week, they were looking for her. But in the process of looking for Emily, they found these other beautiful girls that you see all around her. And the more the time it took, the more the people were getting upset, until the point where the whole country was in an uproar about these young ladies that were being sexually abused and being murdered. And so they, when they finally found her, like almost 2 months later, they had cut her up and put her in a garbage bag, and that just sent the outrage across the whole country. And we had already seen the problem, but we didn't realize the problem was so bad. But what we did was, as we started working with the children, excuse me, we saw that this abuse had a devastating effect with their behavior. They became dysfunctional, a lot of fear and anxiety. They even had physical problems with their nervous system, sometimes venereal diseases and stuff. A lot of stress and fatigue. We even have one young lady where she can't even hardly read. She can't focus. You think that she's on drugs or something. You talk to her and she'll smile, but she doesn't really understand what you're saying many times. And this is because of the trauma that they've gone through. And so I want to share a quick story. I'm going to call her Mary. That's not her real name, but that's what we're going to call her. And so you can see this group of kids. But Mary grew up in our ministry. She grew up in a Christian home. And one day, my wife and I noticed that she was acting really strange. And so we invited her to our house, her and her sister, and we said, what's going on? And she wouldn't really talk. We found out that she was cutting herself. I mean, her wrist was just full of cuts. She's a beautiful young girl, but she said how people were calling her ugly and how she was really depressed and she was having a problem believing in God. And even though she was raised in a Christian family, she hadn't really known God. And so what ended up happening was through the process of time, I felt like God gave me a word about her, and I felt that she had been sexually molested. And my wife asked her, um, "Did it happen?" And she just nodded her head, saying yes. And she wouldn't tell us who, but we believe it was a family member. And the beautiful part was we got her out of the hood environment where she was, and we brought her away into our home. And as we began to minister to her and love on her, she received Christ. I don't know if she rededicated herself or received Christ for the first time. But after she said the prayer, we walked her through a forgiveness process. We saw this depressed girl who wanted to commit suicide. We saw her begin to blossom. And she said for the first time, she really understood the Bible when she read it. For the first time, she said that she really heard the voice of God and how God was speaking to her about her value. And so that gave us this concept. This is, several months later, it gave us this concept we call the House of Hope. And the House of Hope is a healing and retreat center. It talks about where um, Jesus said that he came to heal the brokenhearted, to set the captives free. And so we want to introduce those who are physically, emotionally, and sexually abused to an encounter with God and his presence so that they can experience true freedom. Our vision is to see justice and healing for the brokenhearted, to break the cycle of abuse and bring justice. And that process begins when taking them out of the environment for 2 or 3 days or a week, like we did with our um, young lady that we call Mary, and we see amazing results. And it's not only just taking them out of the situation and ministering and love on them, but we want to see them completely healed, walk through forgiveness. We really are artsy and we want to use the arts to bring them out. And we want to see them get life skills. We want to see them get a higher education, help them to fulfill their dreams and goals. And our young lady that we calling Mary, she is about to graduate high school now, and then she wants to go to the university to actually become like a Christian counselor or a psychologist so that she could help other young boys and girls who have gone through this heartache and pain. And so we have our hope team that we're pulling together. Is loving and caring leadership family. Is Christian counselors from a nearby city, pastors who have been ministering since like 1996. We have a local psychologist that has a whole team that works for a government agency, and they work with not only those that have been physically and sexually abused, but those who have been who want to commit suicide, who has gotten pregnancy, those who have abortion. They try to get them not to commit abortion. Then we have life coaches, doctors, and other volunteers that we are pulling together. The statistics say that Dominican Republic is number 3 in the world as far as sex trafficking, and we believe that we can prevent sex trafficking and help these young girls not be so vulnerable by, a lot of the kids don't have proper ID, they don't have a hope, they don't have a dream, and they don't have employment. In our communities that we work, it's over 60% unemployment. Over the other pastors say that it's almost a 90% divorce rate. um, Most of the families, they don't have a man living in the house. It's a living boyfriend, and usually he's the one that typically ends up abusing the children, both male and female. So what we're trying to do right now is we're trying to get them out of the that environment. And we have this piece of land. It's up in the mountains. It's like maybe 12 to 15 minutes away, 9 acres, beautiful land, has a huge amount of space that we're gonna expand to do a lot of great things to help the children and those that are abused in a family. But you know, all the things that we have been doing for these years, we do from our heart. We have a very limited amount of income. My wife and I live off of $500 to $600 a month, and we just don't have the capacity to to fund this ourselves. So, as we're doing what we can, we're going to ask you, if this touches your heart, that if you want to see women and children and youth free from the destructive behavior of abusive people, we need your help. Our heart is to use uh, cost effective building materials. We're going to be using shipping containers to put together a quick, easy process. We have a gentleman that we have met that builds these homes and buildings for years all over the world, and he's going to be helping us put this together. Um, how you can help is by making an investment. Make an investment from your heart. What's the best gift that you can give? We have had a couple of business owners that has blessed us with about $44,000, and we're using that. It's They actually are doing it as part of a matching fund, and our hopes is before December that we can match that 44 and make it into 88. The hold project is $205,000. That's for the land, which is 135, which is our main focus in phase one. And then phase two would be actually building the House of Hope. And so we're about 40% of the way there, between 35 and 40% of the way there, but we need your help. My question is that, excuse me, what can you do to help? Can you help us financially? Who do you know, a friend, a family member, somebody that might have means um, to help us secure the land and to build a house of hope? I'm going to ask you to pray about helping us to um, give us a call if you have any questions. But more than anything, we have a deadline that they're giving us to the end of December to purchase the land. And then they're going to open it up for other people to purchase. And we really feel like this is the spot where God wants us to be. So I want to say thank you so much for your time. We love these children. I become speechless when I don't want to get emotional, but when we've seen so much pain, so much heartache, and so much abuse, um, we know is beyond us. We need God's help and we need your help. So give us a call if you have any questions. Uh, think about what's the best gift that you can give and invite your friends to join us to help us with this. So thank you so much for taking a moment out of your time to hear our hearts. And we hope that you would join us in building the house of hope and changing lives. God bless.